We're going to Spain.
How long?
Well, we're going to go through to Africa afterwards.
Lauren and I would leave the comfort of England, travel through France and Spain before heading down the entire west coast of Africa, expecting to travel in excess of 15,000 miles on our 125cc bikes.
This is it. This is where the world trip starts. Best get going, eh?
We left Bedfordshire on a dark, cold winter's morning and took the easy way to the Channel Tunnel train, down the motorways to cover our first miles of this epic adventure. It gave us a chance to get used to our overloaded bikes, as we hadn't ridden them fully loaded before prior to leaving for this trip. We breezed past the UK and French border controls and joined the train, although it was late leaving. As we entered France, we were still full of excitement. To keep ourselves occupied on the dull roads, we played games, racing one another towards our first stop of the trip.
We decided we'd book an Airbnb. We always said we'd get a hotel or something for the first night. And yeah, today was a slog, 300 and something miles. It was cold. It's been wet for probably the last 2 hours. Every bit of my clothing, or every layer of my clothing was wet in some place, shape, way or form. Just having a cold dinner. Had a cold sandwich, a couple of snacks, some sort of energy bar things. And Loz is a winner. She packed Yorkshire tea bags. So having a hot cup of tea. Yeah. About 9:20 local time. We're knackered. We were uncomfortable. Yeah, silly really. We shouldn't have pushed to do the 300 miles. But we had somewhere pre-booked, which is yeah. If we were to do it again, I think we would say we'd just book somewhere at like 4 or 5 on the road and ride to that, rather than this situation we found ourselves in. But there we are. Onwards and upwards, we wanted to do this, so we're doing it. Catch you in the morning.
Down the street with your red lips and funky beat, you better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
After a marathon first day leading to a well-earned night's sleep, our motivation for leaving on the second day wasn't particularly high. However, with the rain breaking for a while and giving us clear skies, get on the road we must. We were staying off the major routes, avoiding all toll roads and motorways, which forced us to see the small towns and villages which we would otherwise have missed. On the longer sections, we found new uses for our crash bar bags as leg supports to provide a nice way to stretch out the legs. We were lucky for most of this day as we largely avoided the rain, but temperatures were still around 5 degrees centigrade, meaning we were using all of our layers to keep warm. other fixed destination, a gentleman had messaged on Facebook saying we could stay with him and his wife. So with the thought of a warm house and comfortable bed, we were spurred on, enjoying the sunset and then riding through the dark until we arrived, pulling up and being directed straight into the barn.
The next day we were taxied into the local town St Junion from Montbazit by our fantastic host Terry and his wife Sharon. We enjoyed a coffee, a wander around, and explore of the old town.
This place here used to be the old ironmongers.
Oh, I see.
That's the advert, the ironmongering.
After St Junion, it was time though for some wartime history.
Orador Saglain, known as the Martyr Village, has been left as it was found, open and exposed to the elements as a reminder of what happened here on June 10th, 1944, just a few days after the D-Day landings. It was hard, but we had to take a look for ourselves.
We're here. So I'd like to go to that bit, I think. Everything. I mean, they just massacred the whole town. 643 people, including 193 children. Some of them, we were just looking on the wall in there, 6 months old. 6 months old, 1 year old, you know, every age of person up to like 70s, 80s, just, yeah, spared no one. Horrendous. I think what brought it home for me is seeing people the same age as we are, and yeah, just can't even begin to imagine.
The attack here by the German SS was alleged to have been in retaliation for the killing of an SS commander, Helmut Kampf, and other German soldiers that had been burned alive in a field ambulance. A battalion of soldiers surrounded the village and split the men from the women and children. The men were taken to barns and sheds where they were shot in the legs and then set alight to after being doused in fuel. Many didn't die from the gunshot wounds. The women and children were led to the church, which was also set alight. Those who tried to escape were met with a hail of machine gun bullets. Only 6 people would survive the attack.
I imagine that was the original bell. What's left of it? It's really harrowing. Just can't even begin to imagine how the people felt. And of course this isn't a isolated incident. Things like this have happened all through history and are still happening today. Just boggles the mind that we can be so cruel to one another. Don't understand it. Not sure I ever will.
With the weather and history weighing upon us, it was time to leave as there were maintenance jobs calling on our motorcycles. First, I pressed some bushes out of the new suspension I've been carrying so it would fit my bike, removed the luggage and quickly swapped new for old. Then added tyre slime to prevent punctures and took care of the chains. We'd offered to cook for Terry and Sharon to show our appreciation for them. A simple dinner, but it was the least we could do. All three of them, including Sid the dog, were fantastic to us, and we would think of them often during the duration of our trip. Back on the road, fueled up and ready to go, heading deeper into France, to meet another man who'd messaged on social media. It was a Sunday and he had offered a Sunday roast, a taste from home, but not all was well.
We just got to, we've just had lunch with Andrew, and then Lauren's bike was cutting out on the way here, and now sounds very unhealthy, so need to investigate.
At first, I suspected the valve clearances could be at fault, as it was one thing we'd adjusted before we left, and I wondered if it had come loose. But that wasn't the case.
Like one of those. Yeah, that feels right. I think it may be fairly serious, fairly terminal. I don't know for sure, but the engine sounds really bad. Yeah, really knocking quite a lot. And it turns out there was no oil in the bike, so we filled it up with oil, tried to cycle it through. It still sounds really bad. Some of the worry is we've got something like a crankshaft bearing or a little end bearing, maybe even the crank, but it doesn't sound like it's coming from the crank. I've done the test with a screwdriver next to your head to pinpoint the sound, and it sounds like it's coming from the middle of the engine. But yeah, so we're trying to figure out a plan now. Andy's kindly putting us up for the night. That's whose garage we're in. We came for lunch and
We'll stay at night.
yeah, now we're staying the night. So we won't get beaten, we'll figure it out and we'll ride again. But when? Remains to be seen. Maybe we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next one.
And then the plans were made and quickly put into action. But you'll have to come back next time to see exactly what happened.